Hi, hello, Wagwan. Welcome to the first official episode of the group chat. In this episode, I will be kind of addressing my intro, kind of redoing it a little bit, and then jumping into my first topic. So, if you've already seen the intro on my page, right, what you don't know about that is that I spent a couple hours recording that. And mind you, it's less than 1 minute, right? Um, but the reason why it took me so long is because that was my first time sitting down recording myself in front of a camera, right? So I was actually nervous, right? And there was a part in there where I was laughing with myself, and I'm like, yo, I got performance anxiety, and like, there's nobody in here but me. So I kind of wanted to just address that, and I posted it because I was going to address it, and to kind of like share, like, if you're gonna do something, go ahead and do it, okay? Regardless of how it starts off, you're no one's gonna start off great. I'm not starting off great. I'm pretty sure I'm botching this right now, but I'm gonna keep on going. And the one of the purpose for this podcast is really to express authenticity. And of course, I have to start with myself first. And then encouraging others to seek out their own authentic self and then standing in that. I have a very large vision for this podcast and really creating a community to where we can really hone in on our self awareness and how that relates to the people around us and the things that we're experiencing, learning from our experiences and the lessons that they teach and who we come out of that. Also, like redefining ourselves after we've undergo a healing journey, which never really ends. Um, and it's not linear. So all of those things represents, or all of those things will be discussed in the group chat. And that, along with everything else I said in the initial intro, is what this podcast is about. Now, to jump into my first topic, it is entitled Facing Fear. And majority of you guys that are watching this don't know me personally. And my biggest fear is actually speaking, public speaking, speaking for anyone else to see, speaking in front of a camera, speaking on stage, because I am not fond of my smile. And it's something that I had to overcome. And it took me a long time to really get here. And I was like, okay, I want to do a podcast, but how am I going to do that when I overthink how someone else might perceive me because of my smile, right? Whatever thoughts. I used to have so many, like every negative thought that you could possibly think that someone is thinking of you, I've thought them. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who's experienced that. I've taken a long time to heal from how I've negatively viewed myself because of my smile and how I thought other people viewed me. Um, which is one of the reasons why, I kind of like started this podcast to help encourage other people to like do the thing, whatever it is that you have been dreaming about, birthing within yourself or conceiving within yourself, rather, go ahead and give birth to that thing. Regardless of your fears, regardless of whatever obstacles, use what you have now and jump right into it, just like I'm doing right now. Now, to lead into the topic of today, facing fear, I was supposed to post this podcast, start posting episodes at least a month ago, right? This is April. Yes, I said I was going to post in March, but I keep on finding excuses to delay my launching because of my fear of, I guess, a little bit of fear of like, well, I guess what other people think. I no longer really have that fear. It's just I took a long time getting over that hump to finally like push through that fear and do the thing that I was afraid to do. And now here I am. And I really do hope that this encouraged you to go ahead and, do that thing. So let's address fear for a little bit, right? Fear, there's a acronym for fear, which is like false evidence appearing real. And I like to talk about fear and say that it is an illusion, right? Fear is an illusion. It creates these things in your mind that are not real or that hasn't even happened yet. And it stops you from doing something when the possibility of the thing that you fear is has a less percent chance of happening than all of the things that are beyond that fear, right? The greater things are beyond your fears once you push through those fears. This is me facing my fear right now in front of this camera talking. There was a lot of time spent, with myself and with God. I used to ask God, like, why me, if you will? And of course, I think if you've ever had a conversation with God, you already know the answer to that is why not you, right? This was my tribulation, if you will, to overcome, because who I am becoming as I'm overcoming that is a testimony for someone else, is an example for someone else to know that you too can overcome whatever it is that you fear the most, whatever it is that's stopping you from living the life of your dreams, for going after what it is that you want, for being confident in who you are and understanding who you are. And more so, this fear of mine has actually led me to find who I was. As I've been going on this journey of like healing myself from the whole smile thing and various other things, I've come to know who Shamika is. And Shamika is not the girl with the missing teeth, okay? Um, she's a lot more than that. And all right, I'm talking about myself in third person. But this is the things that Shamika do. You know, I'm in my head a lot. So to give a little bit more premise towards the underlying fear that I have and why it took me so long to like even start this podcast, right? Fixing my smile is gonna take me some time because I think everybody know at this point, dental work. Ask what's her name? Ask Cardi B, right? Had to get a bag and fix her teeth, and she didn't even have near to what I'm dealing with. So you can imagine. Right. So that's like one end of it because I'm just like, I definitely can't wait until I fix it to start this podcast because like, nah, we don't got time for that, and tomorrow's not promised. Um, the past couple of years, I've had to lose some of my teeth, and it has affected my speech. And I have not necessarily worked very hard, but it's always been important to me how I articulate myself. One of the things I always stood on and tried to ask God for, no matter where I was in my journey, was for wisdom and understanding. And as a result, I think it's very important to me how I articulate myself, because articulation equals to understanding when you're talking to people, right? And of course, articulating to each person's level of understanding. And when I started to lose more teeth in my adult age, I started to notice that it affected my speech, and that troubled me. You probably haven't noticed. You might start to pay attention to it now because I've said it. Um, but sometimes words don't come out how they're supposed to. And yeah, it troubled me for a very long time. And I was just like, how am I going to be on a podcast talking to people and I'm slick and messing up words here and there? But that's besides the point, right? The people who are to get the message will still get the message despite all of those things. And I'm only sharing this for the sake of helping you to kind of like understand the struggle that I went through to get here, and to know that you too can overcome your struggle and get here or get there, wherever your space is, wherever you're trying to go, and who you're trying to become. And with that, and me understanding my journey, right, and assessing my journey from the outside, looking in, having an outward experience with my own life journey, I decided like I'm rewriting the narrative. So it's no longer the shy girl who is afraid to do the thing that she said she's gonna do. Now I'm doing it. I'm doing all of it. Okay, stay tapped in. Or tap in with me in to see some of the things that I've conceived for some time now, for some years, and now finally giving birth to, showing up as the person I am becoming. It took a long time, a long journey in becoming, but now I'm finally showing up as that person. That person's been tucked away in her room, work and home, and being a mom. And my life has been consumed with just that: work, being a mom, work, being a mom, work, being a mom. Every now and then you might see me outside. Um, But these last couple years, it wasn't necessarily for a bad reason, because while I was home, I was definitely spending time with myself, spending time journaling, spending time like doing the work, researching on the things that I want to do, writing out my business plans, and mapping everything out how I want to build a life of my dreams, because I deserve that. I deserve to live how I want to live, and I'm gonna do that, and I've gotten out of my way. This whole podcast is basically me getting out of my way and going after the life that I truly do deserve, and building that, and trusting myself, and keeping God in the front, keeping him ahead, keeping him in the midst of it all. The things that I would think other people are saying about me. And half of the time it wasn't even true. Like when I would express this to the people that know me the most, or is the closest to me, they'll be like, "What? You have a beautiful smile." And most of the times I wouldn't believe it. And I think they weren't trying to say that, "Oh, don't ever fix your teeth." I'm pretty sure that's not what they were saying, but they were just saying that there was more to me than my smile, the smile that I'm so like afraid to share with the world. And because of that, because of the things that they know about me that's beyond my smile, it projected a great smile. Like to them, when I smiled, it was genuine, it was authentic, it was in a good space, and it was just coming from a person who loved others and who wanted to see other people smile, right? For those like the people that know me knows, like I'm always down for a good time. I'm always like trying to make everybody else laugh. I'm always telling the jokes. Half of the time they're corny, but it'll make other people laugh because I love laughter. Like it's healing within itself. So knowing that about myself, I had a real struggle. Um, Loving to laugh and then being afraid to laugh in certain spaces. Now, don't get me wrong. When I'm around the people that know me, like, oh, he, ha, ha, kicking it back, mouth wide open. But whenever I am out in public and I do that, I've seen people like look at me and their eyes are just filled with these questions, and I would fill in the blank of what I would think that they would be questioning, and it was never good. It was never good. Um, so yeah, I had to overcome that, and I'm glad that I took the time to myself to really pay attention to like why I was feeling that way, and what my life could be like if I didn't feel that way. And I need y'all to like I need y'all to like really listen. My fear of my smile has held me back from so many opportunities. Like I could pinch myself right now. And I would defend myself by saying, what's for me is not going to miss me. Right. And I still do believe that. And I do believe that nothing happens before it's time. But I also could have experienced so many more things if I wasn't afraid. If I wasn't afraid to go and talk to that person, or if I wasn't afraid to respond when that person tried to talk to me. Like when I tell y'all, I have been out and someone tried to drum up a conversation with me, and depends on how I was feeling that day. I probably like would make the conversation really short and walk away, or I won't even respond at all. There was a season of my life where a guy would try to talk to me, and I'm just like, yeah, nah, I ain't finna embarrass myself. I'm not finna open my mouth. I'm not finna say nothing. I'm gonna look at you like I'm. I made myself unapproachable many times because I thought I was protecting myself. I thought I was protecting my emotions. I thought I was protecting myself from embarrassment. But the only the only embarrassment I was experiencing was in my own head, right? One of the greatest things I'm experiencing right now on this podcast is talking things out. It helps you to get out of your head, and I'm realizing like, yo, I was really holding myself back for a long time. And this official episode right here is me taking a stand for myself. I'm not doing that no more. I'm not afraid. I'm not concerned with anybody who is watching this that is going to take anything negative from it, or think anything negative, or want to share anything negative, or any type of negative feedback or whatever. I'm doing this for the people who need this example, for the people who need to hear these words. I'm doing this for the people who are going to watch this and take something away from this, who's going to learn something from this, who's going to be empowered by this. That is my goal here. And how dare me stand in my own way of someone else's blessing? Like, when I tell you God has done a work in me, though, like, he really has. So yeah, I've definitely started this podcast to really encourage other people, to help other people, to uplift, and really to highlight how we are more alike than we are different. Because I'm pretty sure that you might not be experiencing what I've experienced with my smile, but you've experienced something to the extent that has held you back, right? And I'll never say that it's minor, because to you it's not minor, it's not small at all. It is something big. But guess what? You're bigger. Your God is bigger. The God you serve is bigger. Um, so triumph, claim your victory, redefine who you are, reclaim who you are, reclaim your power, sister, brother. I am really excited for the growth of this podcast, and it's gonna kind of like give a little insight of my own personal journey and my own growth, again, for the sake of helping others who are on their own journey, especially if you're on that journey alone. Like, I went through a lot of things alone. And I'm saying it like that because God has always been there. Even when I wasn't hearing him or when I wasn't talking to him, he has always been there. Um, and I definitely always had people in my corner that I could go to. However, I know sometimes some of the things that we experience, some of the fears, some of our deepest, darkest serious secrets were meant for us to experience alone. Because it's in that loneliness where we really get to strip away all of the outside noise and hear our own internal voice, right? Hear the voice of the Lord. Um, and that's where clarity comes. I've gained so much clarity leading up to this point. And I'm really excited to share all of that with you guys and really, have more conversations with others to collectively gain clarity on self, right? Each individual self. Leave something in the comments. I really do appreciate feedback, especially in the space that I'm in. I don't require it, okay? I've come a long way to no longer require it, but I would appreciate it because I do want to see the growth of this podcast, how it can benefit you, ways that all the things that I can incorporate to help you grow, to help you push through, to help you break through on your own personal journey. And yeah, so like, follow, subscribe. I have more things that I'll be rolling out in the future as we continue to grow. So come through, grow with me. Let's go on this journey together. Let's do this. Okay, you can do this. I'm doing this.